works. This is my experience. When I did the exercise, even if I increased the weight, at the time I did it, it didn't feel too bad. It felt like I could do it. It wasn't that I didn't get any burn or anything. But a day later, I felt that I always based it on a baseline. So every time I improved, mentally I said, okay, I know where I am at. And every time when I increased the weight, I thought, well, okay, if I improve on the same time frame, uh, then I know that I did it right. If it's not improving or it got worse, and I can tell you, you get in tune with your body so that you basically know from your previous set, even if it's a 1% improvement, you'll feel it. And it gets to that point where it's not even 1% maybe, but it feels better. Your brain just says, yeah, it's improved. And so that's how you know. If it's improved, then you're okay with the additional weight. But like I say, you can't just increase it every week or every 2 weeks. It took me a long time before I finally was able to increase the ankle weight because initially it would sometimes take me, this is a shocker, it would take me 6 or 7 days before I could do the exercise again. And like I said, the muscle I just felt that it hadn't recovered to the previous level. And so I waited all the time. And then eventually it went from 7 to 6 to 5. And now, if I do the exercise, it's like normal. So my muscles are healthier now. And if I'm not a patient person, Jenny, but I've learned that you need to be in a situation like this because the more you push it, the longer it'll take you to get better. Mm-hmm. And it's a hard thing to do when you've waited so long. Jenny, there has to be more people like you. It's really, really, what you do makes perfect sense, right? You're testing the body for the communication with your brain, and you're testing it to make sure that if it works, if your muscle isn't working, there's something wrong. It's like it's right away there's something wrong. Mm-hmm. Even if you fix the problem that didn't cause the whole problem, if a muscle was working again, it could only make things better. Yeah. But you should really be able to fix a lot of things that way because if I hadn't told you it was my glutes, you would have figured it out.
Yeah.
And I told you about that. You could see I had no strength in I had nothing, right? About 3 or 4 years later, I had shoulder surgery because my shoulder just kept coming out. So I went and had shoulder surgery in 1995. I went for rehab and I went to a physio, and all he told me to do was just get my external rotation back. But he never gave me any strengthening exercises, and that was it. And I stopped when it stopped hurting. What I didn't realize at the time was my range of motion had gone down from like 100% to about 60, and I never did anything.
Yeah.
And 5 years later,
gone away, right?
What?
Because it was
the pain.
So you feel like you have to.
Yeah, the pain went away, so I stopped doing it. I said, "What the hoo?" Well, that was the biggest mistake because all the muscles in my back, all the way to my spine, they became hyper tight. My neck was I couldn't turn my neck. It was like this. Right. And everybody told me it was my spine, my thoracic spine. The same, can I say crap? The same stuff. The same stuff. Well, it was the same. Yeah. Everybody said, oh, your spine is stiff. They thought because my spine and my lower half is bad, they just assumed, I have a long neck. So they told me it's like forward head and all this stuff. And I said, but I've had shoulder surgery. I said, how could that have nothing to do with it? Oh, well, maybe that's, just like same thing. It was reacting to the exercise, but it doesn't react the way you think. It actually, even though the muscle's breaking down and getting better, in the interim, because it's worse, it tightens up. Like muscles tighten, and that's another thing. Muscles tighten when it tells the brain, oh, I'm protecting something, and it's the joint. So when I overdid it, and that was even harder because I didn't know how much to do that one. And it was terrible. It'd take me 2 or 3 days. It was painful. The muscle would tighten up. I'd have to take a shower every 2 hours just to loosen it up. It was just unbelievable. But once again, it was the same story, exactly. So I hope people, if anybody watches this, call me up and I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you. But I highly would recommend you seeing Jenny because if you have a problem, there's a good chance, a very good chance, she'll figure out whether it's your muscles or not. It might not be, but I would say there's very good chance that it is. And she'll give you an assessment that at least tell you what the problem is. And that's why I would recommend it. How's
Thank
that?
you.
That's true. I mean, and I don't make up stories, and this is not a story anybody could make up. But
Mhm.
yeah, you've got to be diligent with it. Don't,
Yeah.
like I say, it's not going to be a straight path up because you're going to always overdo it or
Yeah.
maybe not do it enough. It's finding the right balance, and the longer you've had the pain, the more difficult that exercise is to do that way. But don't, whatever you do, don't let those kind of things make you go down because it's easy for that to happen if you don't get that positive result. And you have to be patient. It took me a long time to get to this point, maybe because I wasn't diagnosed right away, but I tend to think that the muscles were already in pretty bad shape. So you have to be patient, but you will feel improvement constantly and it'll make you feel mentally better because you know there's an end point to this. You know, not only will you get better, there's a very good chance you'll be even better than you were before for a long time. And that's what's even better than anything. It's like this
Yeah.
isn't about this isn't just about stopping the pain or mitigating the pain. This is about feeling really good.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's quite good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Taking painkillers might alleviate your problem temporarily, but it's actually the worst thing you can do. And it's the worst thing for two reasons. Number one, you'll get addicted to the pills, and
Mhm.
eventually the pills might not work, and then you're still addicted.
Right.
Number two, if it masks the pain, then you don't know whether it's getting worse,
Right.
and and it just makes things worse.
Yeah.
So even though it's tough not to take painkillers, and everybody recommends it but I would say it's not a very good thing to do. It just if you want to get better, don't take painkillers, even though it's tempting. Try and do meditation. Try and not overdo it. Try whatever, but eventually it'll be a much better thing to do not taking those pills.
Yeah. Exercise. That's the pill.
Well, yes, that's the pill. It's a tough pill. It
Yes.
doesn't work right. It doesn't work in a half an hour,
No.
but long term, it's the best. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Hindsight and say what these people did wasn't the right thing. You
Hmm.
can't assess somebody for 5 minutes. Some didn't even touch me. They
Right.
didn't even touch
So how do they know?
me. Well, how did they know? Well, because they looked at the MRI and they said based on my explanation of pain. Well, what happens if somebody doesn't really know what their pain is? Oh, it hurts. You're gonna diagnose them because they say it hurts in my leg. That's not. You really have to be able to quantify things. You really have to be able to do it as that's the thing. You need a way to test your body, and that's what Matt does. It tests your body and tells you that. That's what's needed. It's not about having super powerful. I think people
Right.
associate exercise with
Right.
super duper muscles and a six pack.
Exactly.
It's not just that.
Yes.
You know,
Thank you
you
for saying that.
right?
Thanks for
It's
saying that.
true. I think a lot of people. I think another reason why people don't like to do exercise is because they feel it's like a chore.
Yeah.
So to me, the best way around that is by saying, it's like you shovel snow to clean your driveway. Instead of looking at and saying, "Oh, I got to shovel the snow," just say, "Oh, I'll have a clean driveway at the end of it."
Right.
Look at the objective and
Yes.
focus on the objective as opposed to focusing on what you have to do.
Right.
It might not work for everybody, but I think that you're right. It is a mental game. And okay, nice talking to you, Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye.